Hello everybody, here we are today talking about the Vegas Golden Knights and whether or not they will go back-to-back as Stanley Cup champions. Now before we start talking about them, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me or hockey, whatever the case may be. That being said, let's get on into it. So Vegas was able to crack through last season and win their first championship in franchise history. It was a big deal, absolutely, because while there haven't been a lot of lows for the Golden Knights in their short existence, there's still been that feeling of maybe we don't win a cup with this group, despite the fact that we are so talented. However, that was all put aside last season with a Stanley Cup victory over the Florida Panthers, and with that win put away and still celebrated, of course, there is now talk about whether or not the Golden Knights can become just a second team in the salary cap era to win back-to-back championships, being like the 2016 and 2017 Pittsburgh Penguins. And of course, now we get to dive into that. Well, in order to win back-to-back championships, you kind of need to make the playoffs. Luckily for Vegas, that doesn't seem to be a big issue at the moment, as they are currently 6th overall in league standings and kind of look like they're a lock to finish top 3 in their division. In fact, they also look like they're pretty much set to have a rematch against the Edmonton Oilers. That was what we saw, I think, in the second round last year of the playoffs. It's going to be really fun. Two teams that play in a division against each other that have a lot of talent. Vegas is a side that probably wouldn't want to play Edmonton, just like everybody else, after they had a 16-game win streak. However, at the same time, guess who snapped that streak? It was Vegas. Otherwise, the Oilers would have tied the Penguins for the longest win streak in NHL history. Vegas went out there and won 3-1. So the Golden Knights kind of saying, hey, we don't really care that you're going out there and winning a bunch of games, trying to make history. We can go out there and snap your streak, as they look set to probably play each other in the playoffs. Now, interestingly enough, Vegas actually has the 16th best odds at winning the Stanley Cup this season, despite the fact they are 6th overall in league standings and have a great chance of making the playoffs. MoneyPuck.com has the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Seattle Kraken above them in odds of winning the Cup. I don't know why. I don't know if there's a problem with their formula, but clearly Vegas looks like they'll probably be the team that has better odds than those two. Now, taking a look at this team, obviously they're in a weird spot where their record, doesn't look bad, but a lot of that was kind of skewed by the fact that they went 11-0-1 in their first 12 games, rattled off something like 7 wins to start off the season, and then since then things have been a little bit more quiet. As since that point they've gone 21-15-6, and there is kind of a specific point where they've looked more average, I guess if you want to call it that, and that is December 19th when Logan Thompson and then Aiden Hill were both out with injuries. Now, I don't think they were out very long, but since December 19th, they've gone 10-9-1. There's been, some losing, there's been some winning. Lately, it looks like they're a little bit more back on track. However, at the same time, too, compared to that first 12 games where they looked really unbeatable or just a side that was really hot, this is not necessarily the same team. It's tough to say because, again, during that spell, there's been some highs and lows, but it is not that side from the first 12 games that just was riding that momentum. Now, truthfully, in terms of the numbers, there are some things that, aren't too bad. Goals for percentage is one of those deals, but the power play percentage and the PK percentage don't really strike fear to you. Power play percentage is 19th in the league, and then the PK percentage is 14th. So power play kind of lagging behind. The PK is about average. Now, the power play, I'm going to be honest, could be a whole lot worse. But at the same time, too, it's one of those situations where you can take what you get. You're second in your division, and that hot start kind of helped out the Golden Knights. Now, I know some of you, especially Vegas fans, are probably screaming, we've had injuries. We've had injuries. I am well aware of that. Shea Theodore, Jack Eichel, Carrier as well was dealing with an injury. Might still be dealing with an injury. I couldn't tell you. But at the same time, too, you can't really use that excuse of, well, if we were healthy, we would have gone on to win the Cup. Fact is, it doesn't really matter when you're trying to win back-to-back championships, because if you don't win it the year after, you're not winning back-to-back championships. And then you have the argument of, well, if we get everybody back and everybody's healthy, we are going to be in a great spot and good to go. You don't necessarily know that. So I think in the point of my view, I am a little bit worried about Vegas, just looking at what I'm seeing, about whether or not they're going to go out there and have the best chance of winning the Stanley Cup. Injuries, maybe some underwhelming play, or just the fact that they don't scare you in certain regards out on the ice is a little bit problematic. Now, am I going to go out there and say that they're 16th best odds to win the Cup? I'm not going to tell you that. I think they have better odds than that. Now, the flip side of that is, if you said, give me 5 teams that have better odds than Vegas to win the Cup, this year you would probably have less people even argue with you that there are 5 teams that legitimately could have better odds than Vegas. So It's a situation where they were underdogs last year with what they had going on in between the pipes, and they went on to win it. So do we see a little bit more of that this year? That kind of remains to be seen. That being said, do I see this as a side that just goes out in the first round and gets swept? No, I don't. I think that this Vegas side has been there. They've done that. They've got guys that are still motivated. I mean, look at Jack Eichel. This is a guy that just struggled in Buffalo in terms of team success. Telling me he's not still motivated. There's other players that are playing for their legacy. There are other guys that still want to achieve a lot. Other guys like Aiden Hill, look at where his career was before his run with Vegas. I mean, this is not a team that's lost that hunger and that drive like some other teams do when they get a championship and they say, well, we achieved what we wanted to achieve. I still think that there's that hunger, and I know there are some things holding them back that are out of their control. However, at the same time, they got to go out there. They got to do what Vegas does and be a really good team. They are looking better as of late, but we will keep an eye out for this as they have a potentially very hard matchup in the first round against the Oilers. I'm really excited for that series, and I am hoping that Vegas puts on a good show in the playoffs. Do I think they're going to win the Cup? I'd say no. But hey, they proved me wrong last year, so let's see what they got. Anyway, what are your thoughts on Vegas? Do you think they'll go back-to-back this year? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night, and you go love hockey, alright. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.